Hi, I'm Charisse.
And I'm Holly, and welcome to Ask Mom. Today we're talking about
Sexual abuse.
It's a hard topic. Any child out there who has this in their life needs to be able to recognize it for what it is,
Right.
and needs to be able to get some help. So if you're someone that's watching this that has had the experience of someone violating your body in any way, touching you, asking you to do things with them, particularly if it's a teenage, it doesn't even matter if it's a teenager in your family that's asking you to do this, or an adult, whoever it is, unwanted sexual attention from them is sexual abuse, and it's not okay.
And it happens to kids of all backgrounds. It doesn't matter what socioeconomic class you are, if you're rich or you're poor. It happens to everybody straight across the board.
Yeah, the person hurting you could be a family member, a friend, a trusted person at church or at school, or someone else that you might have trusted and thought was safe, and indeed maybe they're not. Like maybe you're spending the night at a friend's house and their brother or their dad does something.
Mm-hmm. It could be somebody that your parents think is a safe person for you to be around, and so they put you in that person's care, and they're not a safe person to be with.
Exactly. And sometimes when this is happening, kids are told by the person doing it that this is a special way that you show love to each other. And that's a thing that commonly happens with, particularly if, say, a father is an abuser or an uncle is an abuser. He might say, this is just what families do that love each other, but it's not talked about and it's kept a secret. And so you just think that this is a normal thing that should be going on, right, even though inside probably you feel like it isn't right, but you're now under the control of an adult who's telling you it's okay. And it's very confusing and very scary, I think, to be in that position.
I think the biggest key is that they tell you to keep it a secret.
Sometimes it is violent and controlling. It's a way that they use to suppress you or control you. It doesn't matter if it happens one time or if it happens thousands of times. It's never, ever your fault. You're a child and you're a victim. And it doesn't matter if you're an 18-year-old child or if you're a 10-year-old child. It is never, ever your fault. And it's wrong for the person who's doing it to be doing it to you.
The person that's hurting you might say something to you to get you to keep the secret, like something very, very bad would happen to you if you told. That you might feel that you might be blamed, or that it's your fault, or that if you tell, just bad things will happen to maybe you, your family, and you don't want to break that up, so you don't want to tell, and that you won't be believed. If you tell an adult, and they might not believe you. So it's not your fault that they did this to you, and you need to tell somebody. And that's just how they go about controlling you and trying to protect themselves.
Yes.
By feeding you more and more lies.
Right, exactly. And getting help is the most important thing that you can do. So we want to talk about how to do that. Now, if this is happening within your family, it may be very difficult for you to say, if it's happening with your dad, for you to go to your mom, right? And if you go to your siblings, they could be in the same situation you're in, or you could be afraid to tell them for fear that they're going to think, what are you talking about? So sometimes I think a good idea is to look outside of your family for someone to try talking to it about, so maybe it's a school counselor, a teacher, if you're in Girl Scouts or an organization like that, or a church youth group leader.
Or a friend's mom or a friend's, somebody like that
would listen to you, be a sounding board, say, oh my goodness, when is this happening? What's going on? And that would talk to you about it.
If you tell one person and they don't believe you, don't stop there. Tell somebody else until you get the help that you need.
That's right. And they could want desperately to help you and just not maybe have the tools themselves to know how to support you or what to do. So if you find that you tell someone and they're not stepping in and helping this to stop, keep telling.
And a healthy adult will know that it's not your fault and that you're not the one to be blamed.
I mean, if that person is doing it to you, more than likely they're doing it to someone else or have done it to someone else. So being able to just stop that cycle, and I can only imagine how hard that would be to do it to your father, to say something like that if it had to do with your father or your brother or an uncle, or, that's your family. You're taught to protect your family.
Right.
And preserve your family, and I get how hard that is. The problem is this kind of behavior is going to, even if it ends with whoever's doing it to you, it sticks with you forever. And you have to get help to get beyond that. The longer you allow it to go on, the more it tanks, who you're meant to be and who you're supposed to be, and to be able to be in healthy relationships. And so it's really important that it stop.
And at the same time, you might be helping that person that's abusing you to get the help that they need, because clearly they're not healthy.
You can go online. So one of the ones, for instance, I looked at was this one. I'm going to put it up close so you can see it. Let's see. And it's called rainn.org, RAINN.org. And it's the largest national abuse center that you can contact. It's all toll free, so it doesn't cost you anything to contact them. I printed off, this is what the main first page looks like, and I've highlighted the information you're going to need. So there's a number here, a toll-free 800 number you can call. There's also right here, if you want to get help, it says get help with a phone right next to it, and you click on that, and then it tells you exactly like what your experience will be talking to them. And so you can talk to them by, over the computer, so that if you're not ready to speak it out loud to somebody yet, but you want to be able to talk to somebody who's a trained professional in handling kids or adults or teens or whoever it is that's been abused. They've gone through training to be able to talk you through kind of your first emotions, how to handle it. And, if this happened, if you're 20 years old and this happened when you're 10, you still need to call them. You still need to get help. If you've ever been abused and you need to start working through it, you recognize it's time to start working through it and figuring out how you can get help, then they'll help you.
And here's the thing to know, you're not the only one that this has ever happened to. If they have an organization that gets as many hits as this organization does, it's clearly happening to many, many children and young adults as well.
I guess the last message we just want to get to you is that you're worth getting the help. You're not unlovable because something like this has happened to you. You're not damaged because someone's decided to do this to you. You have a purpose, and God put you on this planet for a reason, and it wasn't for this. And so, believe that you're worth getting that help, and that you're worth doing whatever it takes to get the support and the love that you need, and to be healthy and whole once again, right?
Right.
So I'm Holly.
I'm Charisse.
Thanks for tuning in to Ask Mom. If you have other ideas about how to get good support for this, because maybe you've been through it yourself, other organizations or websites or whatever that might help, feel free to post it on our YouTube. You can leave us messages, or you can always email us at hollycharisse@yahoo.com. Thanks so much for tuning in.